you're right. We can't shut this out. This is a common thread that is throughout the world that it's going on right now. And so let me ask you this, and I know there was, under Project Paperclip, a lot of these Nazi scientists came over, like Mengele, it was doing experiments over there and on the twins and stuff. But where do these people learn this? Like, where did your grandfather learn from that? Or does this go way back to like antiquity, like the ancient mystery religions? Like, how did they figure this out?
My grandfather was in Poland during that time and took a lot of that information, a lot of that the content of that, the human experimentation programs, which is really what war gives a lot of people freedom to do during prisoner of war. And you get access to a lot of human experimentation. The Nazis just did not have the computing power to take all of the records and the information they had and consolidate it and collate it and codify it so that they could distribute it out and use it effectively. So when the war was being lost, the scientific community was grabbing up the data, physical data, and they were using that as bargaining chips when they were trying to flee and get out. So they would flee out through different countries. Some of them went over to the Soviet Union. Soviet Union swallowed up huge quantities of them, but there was a massive race for the information. And so the scientific community got a lot of pardons. They got a lot of passes. And the way that they did that is with their documents. And so the most valuable and coveted of that research was the military records on the side of like their rocket programs and their advanced propulsion systems and their metamaterials teams, like a lot of that, the technology side of it. But then the other was the research that they found by doing all of these horrible atrocities to human beings in the concentration camps. That was where so much of this data, the physical data, got hacked into by goyim, by normal people that weren't raised in the old religions. They hacked into the information by experimenting on humans. Do a lot of things like putting people in ice chests to see how long it would take them to get frozen and stop their hearts, okay, so that they died, and then how we could bring them back to life, right? They did things like it was a lot more than just gassing people. I know that's like the main talked about side of it, but the majority of it was the torture and the experimentation programs, especially with things like twins. People that were twins went through some of the worst things. Pregnant women, people that had any type of major abnormalities that they were looking for that they could use to do a control group and an active group to find out their research on. So that's where my grandfather really got a lot of that information, and he mixed that with a lot of the old religion of the Jesuits and the Knights. What the Knights of Columbus also utilized now, but that's where those kind of got yoked in, and why you see this kind of mixing between those two groups today in a high proportion. But